Okay, so let us start sitting. And we're just gonna do a few little neck things. Then we'll stand up and do a few little shoulder things. And then we'll do maybe a more traditional beginning, but we'll see. So you could sit just cross-legged, or you could sit in double pigeon, which I can do in a way that doesn't distract me from the neck. So if you feel distracted by it, then either sit on a towel or just relax your legs in a different way. So let's keep our shoulders over our hips. I'm just checking in that we're all there. Okay. And we're just going to drop the chin to the chest. And we're going to try not to slump forward as we do that. So the chest is still lifting up. And lift the chin and allow your head to go back so your chin points toward the ceiling. You can even jut your jaw forward so you feel more stretch in the front of the neck. And go down again, chin to chest. Up again, chin to the ceiling. Whatever pace works for you and whatever range of motion works for you. Try to keep your abdominals somewhat turned on so that you don't feel so much urge to slouch or arch. Okay, and the next time that you're coming through neutral, we'll just stay in neutral and we'll go ear to shoulder. And through center, ear to other shoulder. And now the tendency is to start leaning to the side, but try not to lean. It's just the head. Take one more round. You can make that arm a little bit heavier to oppose the head. It feels nice. Okay, we'll come back through center, and if you're sitting in a double pigeon, just change so the other leg is on top. Find that neutral spine again, and we'll just drop the chin forward, and then back like you're a little turtle retreating. Drop forward, and double chin, maybe triple chin if you can, and go forward and back a few more times. The next time you're passing through neutral, we'll just stay there. We're going to go on a diagonal. So let's look down toward our right shoulder, like your chin is going to touch your right shoulder. And we'll stay kind of on this diagonal with the head. We'll just rotate them through the neck so that it feels like our back of head is going to touch the shoulder. And we'll be looking up over the left. And just go at your pace back and forth there. So it's like we found this diagonal that we just turn our head left and right from that place. Go real slow and err on the side of having a small range of motion so that you don't overdo anything. The next time that your chin is by your right shoulder, we'll just roll it down toward the chest and then over toward the left shoulder so that we can do the other side. So they'll lift the chin and sort of look over the right shoulder and bring the chin down again to the left shoulder. And it might feel a little stickier on one side. That is life. You just do the practice anyway and you kind of deal with the stickiness. If you did this again this evening or tomorrow, it would be different. Next time that your chin is at the left shoulder, just bring the chin to the chest, make your way to neutral, and we'll come to standing however you want to do that. We'll use our strap pretty wide, like probably more than shoulders, but you can always adjust that as we go. So we're going to lift the arms up and back so that we break that plane. The arms will be behind the shoulders, just to whatever degree suits you. And remember on Friday, we talked a lot about tucking the ribs in and not just kind of overarching. So find that stiffness in your torso. You're not trying to be flexible in your back right now. You're trying to isolate your arms and shoulders. So we'll keep that feeling of arms being back there somewhere. And let's get heavier through one arm so that the other arm rides up. And the back over to the other side. So each shoulder gets another opportunity and the armpit gets an opportunity to open more. Just do this a few times just to loosen up. There will be a moment where we kind of stay put, but for right now, just find some mobility. Okay, the next time that your right arm is down and your left arm is up, we're going to start to lean over to the right. So you end up with a deeper stretch through the left side of the body. However far you want to go, you can push your hips to the left. You can let your right hand slide further down the strap. Maybe that emphasizes something for you. And let's bring it under and we'll head to the other side. So now that left hand is pulling down. The right arm is going further over. You might even want to change the stance and just closer to this side, just to achieve the same feeling that I had on the other side. So there's different ways you can make it happen for you. Just kind of wiggle around so it finds your spot. And we'll come through center again. I'm just going to flip my body to face away from you. We're going to go in and out of Gomukhasana arms. So the right arm will come down and we'll bend the elbow so the left hand can pull the right hand up. Then we'll straighten the right arm so it pulls the left hand down. And it's almost like they're taking turns being in the position of Gomukhasana. There's no moment where they're both together. They're just kind of counterbalancing each other to get there. Take one more round like that. And we'll try to gracefully change sides. So unravel however you can. The right arm will come up, and the left shoulder will roll forward, and the left elbow will bend. And you might have to readjust your hands. I got a little tangled up. So we'll let each hand have an opportunity to come close to the shoulder blades. And as you're doing this, try not to overarch the back. So remember, we're strong in the core and we're not super loosey-goosey through the spine. So being flexible here will make your shoulders get less benefit. And none of us in this particular class are like super backbendy people, but you've seen folks who are just like real wiggly. They have to work harder. And we still have to work, but just not quite as hard as surface array people. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. We'll be up above again. And just one more time what we started with, arms come back a little bit more. Just to a point where you feel nice in the armpits and in the chest. And if you ever do find that your shoulders are feeling stiff or in pain, just do a few of these little things before you start the rest of your practice, and it will help. Okay, let's bring our arms up and over, and for now you can ditch the strap. We'll use it again later. Let's just come to the top of the mat, hands together. Take a deep inhale. And lower the arms, exhale. Let's reach up, inhale. And fold forward, exhale. We'll just put the fingertips on the ground. Inhale halfway up there. Send the left leg back for your lunge, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Fingertips down, exhale. Back foot forward, inhale. And right foot back, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Fingertips down, exhale. Back foot forward, inhale. Notice your chest moves forward. Left foot back, exhale. High lunge with holding opposite elbows. Pull the elbows back, inhale. Fingertips down, exhale. Back foot forward, inhale. Right foot back, exhale. Hold opposite elbows, inhale. Fingertips down, exhale. Back foot forward, inhale. Left foot back, exhale. Interlace the fingers. Pull yourself up like your fingertips are going to reach your back foot. Fingertips down, exhale. Back foot forward, inhale. Right foot back, exhale. Interlace, reach your knuckles to your back foot, inhale. Fingertips down, exhale. Right foot forward, inhale. Left foot back, exhale. Let's again interlace the fingers, inhale. This time turn the legs into warrior two and bend the elbows so your back of your left hand is just by your right hip. So you're kind of almost in a half bind scenario. Lovely, right? Now let's drop our left ear to our left shoulder. And you end up with a neck stretch similar to what we did before. Just take one breath here. Keep that warrior two shape in your legs. Bring your head to neutral and bring your arms to warrior two. We'll straighten the right leg for an inhale. Bend it again for an exhale. Inhale straight. Exhale bend. One more time like this. Inhale. Notice your shoulders are just moving with your hips. Exhale. We're going to find Ardha Chandrasana. I'm just scooting back for the sake of the camera. We'll inhale up into Ardha Chandrasana. And we'll exhale to return to warrior two. So that right leg is controlling your position. Let's do that a total of 3 times. You already did a lot of stepping forward and back. So apply that here. When you were stepping forward, you were reaching forward with your chest. Same idea. We'll meet in that warrior two. Whenever you get there, just lower your fingertips down and step your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale. We'll be on side two, right foot steps back. We'll interlace the fingers behind, rise up, and turn it into your warrior two stance. Bend the elbows and bring them over toward your left hip. So that left arm is helping to pull the right arm around. You can even squeeze your elbows together, it might feel a little bit more secure. And when you can, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Try to press your waist into your right forearm. We'll keep the shape of warrior two. Just bring the head to neutral and the arms release out. 3 times we straighten the left leg, inhale, and we bend, exhale. Good. Bring the tailbone the whole time. That lowest rib will stay tucked in. And after that third one, we go in and out of Ardha Chandrasana. So we propel ourselves forward and up. Hey, kitties, my cats are fighting. Now we exhale to return to warrior two. 3 times total. Woo, I'm having a lot of little earthquakes on my mat at the moment. But this is real good for that left hip. Real neutral for the wrists since we're just coming to fingertips. And when you land in warrior two after your third one, just lower your fingertips down, back foot forward, inhale, and left foot back again, exhale. So now we're just on side one. Fingertips will stay down. Let's straighten the right leg, inhale, and rebend, exhale. Simple twist, keep your left fingertips down, reach the right arm up, and exhale, untwist. Just one more time like that, inhale. The fingers are pretty light on the ground. They don't have to be super anchored or anything. Right arm up, stack the arms, untwist. Let's sweep the arms forward and up. Inhale. Find your warrior two. Exhale. Straighten the right leg. Inhale. Let's bring the left arm behind the back. And we'll try to get our fingertips by our right hip and thigh as we come into a half bound triangle. If you find it's difficult to get your left fingers there, do what we did before, interlace your fingers and use your right arm to help pull your left arm around. And you'll probably eke out a few extra inches if you do the pull. We'll just take 2 more breaths here. Lean back, Press your waist into your forearm. Okay, we'll unwind whatever bind you have and inhale to upright. Bend into the knee, exhale, fingertips down, back foot forward, inhale, and right foot back, exhale. So we're just gonna lunge on side two, straighten the left leg, inhale, bend the left leg, exhale. Left arm up, inhale, we'll stay on right fingertips, untwist, exhale. One more just like that, inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. Simple twist, inhale, and untwist, exhale. Sweep the arms up, inhale, warrior two, exhale, straighten the left leg, inhale, and find your way into a half-bound triangle. You can walk with your right fingers also. You don't have to use your left hand, literally like a little crab walk. And we roll that right shoulder back. We let it take our right ribs back. Carol, you could probably get your left hand a little lower on your leg. Okay. Let's unwind that right arm. Belly in, rise up with the strength of the core. And bend into that knee, fingertips down, exhale. Back foot forward, inhale. And let's fold the head towards shins, exhale. Halfway up for an inhale, you can have your fingers on the ground or on the legs. Exhale, fold, drop the head. One more time like that. Inhale, we look slightly forward. And exhale, we drop the head. We basically stare at our legs. Bend into the knees, Urdhvadhanyarasana. Round one. Let's go for Steeple Mudra. So we'll interlace the fingers and point our pointer finger up to the ceiling. Just take two more breaths here. Sit a little lower. Okay. We're going to stand on just the right foot. Straighten the leg and bring your left knee in toward your chest. Keep your right leg as straight as you can. We're going to tip over to a warrior three. So the left leg will extend back, and it'll be like a little seesaw. The left leg and the arms are the legs of the seesaw. Bend into the right leg. Step back, warrior one. Reach up. Ooh, that's a nice stretch for that left calf. Ooh la la. Okay, fingertips down to the floor. Back foot forward, inhale. Fold, exhale. Urdhvadhanyarasana, bend the knees, Steeple Mudra. We're just going to go for the other side. So press into your left foot in order to straighten your left leg. Work your hip flexors and your abs to lift your right knee up. Start to tilt into your warrior two. Your torso is going to respond to your right leg. And we just try to make a T shape, more or less. Good. Step back by bending the left leg. Gracefully place your right foot. If you didn't land where you want in warrior one, then you just adjust accordingly. Not a big deal. Okay, and fingertips down. Back foot forward, inhale. Fold, exhale. Urdhvadhanyarasana, inhale. This time, hands to prayer, either in front of your chest or behind your chest. You decide. If you want to go behind but hands in prayer is too hard, just hold opposite elbows. Either way, you're going to press your chest open. Okay, stand on the right foot, left knee in. Again, our warrior three. Extend the left leg back. You're going to keep that left hip pointing down. Point the left toes and reach it back as far as you can. Elbows up. Good. Warrior one with the elbows still reaching toward one another. And it'll feel like your chest is popping up toward the ceiling a bit. If you have any wrist pain, just change your position. Make it easier. Okay, release the grip. Fingertips down, back foot forward, inhale. Fold, exhale, drop the head. Urdhvadhanyarasana, inhale. Hands to prayer or reverse prayer. If you're going for reverse prayer, you could start like a cactus, then drop your fingers down and negotiate it. I like to go knuckles together and then flip it over. There's a lot of ways in. Right knee up, left leg straight. Good, so let your right leg initiate this. Reach with that right leg, back and then up. Keep that right hip down, so you're gonna roll that right thigh in. It should feel like the inseam of your right pants are what's getting your leg up. Good, step back to your warrior one. And if your foot doesn't land where you want, just negotiate it. If your hands are behind you, poke your fingers up between your shoulder blades. It's gonna help you lift the chest a little higher. One more breath. Okay, and we'll slowly release the fingers down. Back foot forward, inhale. And fold, exhale. Urdhvadhanyarasana, inhale. We're just gonna do one more like this. This time interlace the fingers behind the back, roll the shoulders open. It's tough in Urdhvadhanyarasana, but it's gonna be not so bad in your warrior three. Sorry, I'm just tucking in my shirt. It feels like it's all over the place. All right, let's straighten the right leg, left knee to the chest. So this is difficult on its own right. Remember all that Untitled work we did to get that bottom leg straight. Keep thinking of that as you find your warrior three. So our left hip is still moving down. Get your thumbs higher away from your butt. Lisa, that left hip is still a little lifted. Think of your kneecap pointing down. Good. Step back, find your warrior one. Resist the urge to let your thumbs touch the back of your leg. Two more breaths. Okay, and we'll slowly release fingers down. Back foot forward, inhale. Fold, exhale. Urdhvadhanyarasana, inhale. We'll reach behind, interlace the grip. And it's tough because we have already our weight pretty much in the heels for Urdhvadhanyarasana, so we don't want to fall backwards. You might have to shift your weight a little bit here. Okay, right knee in, left leg straight. Your left knee is pointing straight forward. Let's extend the right leg back. We'll get the right knee to point straight down, not out to the side. Lift the arms a little higher, gaze forward, but keep your arms strong. Step into your warrior one. Oh my gosh, my arms are so exhausted from this. They want to just fall onto the back leg. Try to resist the urge, just 2 more breaths. It'll feel good later. Okay, let's go fingertips down, back foot forward, inhale, and fold, exhale. Bend into the knees. This time, hands to prayer, right ankle to lower, left thigh. Flying pigeon. Lean forward so that your torso can sort of rest on the shin, like you're propping yourself up. Take one more breath here. So this is really a lot about the right hip. We're going to turn this into a warrior two. So we'll lift the torso, step back, and then pivot on your feet so that your right knee is the bent knee. Since that's what leg we were stretching in the flying pigeon. Let's extend the arms, turn it into Parsva, either elbow to the thigh or fingertips or palm to the floor. That left arm, we're going to reach out along the ear. And we'll try to reach with the fingers in an equal way as we push with that left foot into the floor. one more breath here. We'll use an inhale to rise up. We'll pivot around to face front, again to your flying pigeon. So that right ankle is just going to come up and around to the left thigh. Stick your butt out a bit. Lean your chest forward. If this is no problem for your hips, push your fingertips down or even palms down. At some point, your hip is going to feel something. That is the key to life. Feel something. Okay, let's rise up. Again, we're going to step back with that right foot. This time, just pivot around so you're in a lunge facing the back of your mat. So all 10 toes will face back. And let's twist, hook our left elbow outside our right thigh. And we'll try to push our right hand into our left hand. Enough that we get some movement in the torso. So the torso is not just resting on the leg. It's rising up toward the ceiling and spiraling around so that at some point our thumb goes right between the boobs or the collarbone, kind of depending on your placement. Okay, let's slowly unravel. Rise up. And again, find your flying pigeon. This will be the last one. This time we're going to attempt to twist. We'll place our elbow on the arch, right elbow to right arch. And then that same concept of torso, instead of it kind of resting down, it's going to rise up and revolve open. So our thumb again gets to the center of the chest. If you feel unbalanced, try to bend your standing leg more. Makes life a lot easier. Good. And let's untwist. We're going to step back again with that right foot. This time for twisted triangle. So we'll face the back of the mat. We'll get our right foot to face straight back, left foot about 45 degrees. And reach your left arm up and out. It could land on your shin or the block or the floor. On either side of your foot, and twist. A lot of things you can do with your right hand. Normally you would just reach up. I'm going to put my hand on my right hip today and push it back because that helps to bring that right hip away from the right armpit, which makes twisting easier. Sometimes I can crack my back in this position. It feels amazing. All right, let's slowly unravel. We'll just rise up and step the feet together at the top of the mat. I should have brought a sweat towel to my mat today. Didn't think of it. Okay, left ankle to lower right thigh, flying pigeon side 2. If balance feels weird, you can also put your butt against the wall. We rise up and we take a big step back, pivot around for warrior 2, and make your way to Parsva. Right arm sweeps out over the ear. The twist is going to be easier if you have your elbow on your thigh. When you want to work your hip more, you'll need to come down a little lower. Doesn't mean you have to come all the way to palm flat, because sometimes we come down too low and then the twist open becomes impossible. So it's sort of a fine line. You have to decide your priorities, and then you have to sort of nudge into it from all sides. Back leg stays straight, push it down a little harder. Okay, let's inhale our way up. Make your way to flying pigeon again. Try to do it in one fell swoop, but if it doesn't work, just a lot of little steps. The control is in that right ankle and in the right foot. If you can, bring your fingers or palms down. Notice your butt is still pretty high. And John, flex that left foot more. Yes, like that, good. Make our way to our lunge. So that left leg steps back with control. We pivot around, and this time all 10 toes will face back. Easier to square the hips that way. And we'll bring our right arm outside of the left thigh, hands to prayer, and twist. So notice your thumbs start near your shoulder. That is not the end point. If you're feeling stiff today, it's maybe the end point for today, but within the next few lifetimes, thumb to center chest. Push that left leg into the right arm. Okay, let's unravel. Rise up, pivot around. It's a lot of hip work, I know. Try to step with one fell swoop. Bring that left ankle to the lower right thigh, butt low, and twist. As far as you can go. This would be a good place to put your butt against the wall if balance is the issue, because obviously it's hard to twist deeply when you're dealing with balance. Ashley, what's up? You don't need water that badly.
Yoga is
okay. Let's unravel and step back. Pivot around, triangle pose. So heel to heel alignment, right leg is diagonal, right arm up and forward. Eventually down somewhere. So one of the reasons I like pushing the left hip back is that it lengthens the side body. It also makes more space so that I have an easier time keeping the hip keeping the right hip up. This is a really hard pose no matter what you do with that left hand. Let's take one more breath. And we'll unravel and rise up and around. And I think this time we just stepped forward. I think that was it. Oh, la la. Let's reach the arms up for an inhale and fold forward for an exhale. From halfway up, inhale, and step or jump through your vinyasa. Exhale for chaturanga. We'll just meet in downward dog. Let's bring our right foot forward. Actually, either foot, I should say. We're going to turn to the side. So whichever foot you need forward in order to have your camera in a way you like it. We'll reach for the big toes, first 2 fingers and thumbs, inhale. And on the exhale, pull the head down, either to the floor or approaching the floor. Try to get your shoulders to defy gravity. They move up toward your butt. Okay, inhale for straight arms. We'll walk toward the top of the mat and bend the back leg to the floor, back knee to the floor. Hands to the front thigh, and just lift the chest up. This is Anjaneasanas. Good, let's try it with robot arms. So we'll have our palms face in. We'll poke our elbows back. As we poke our elbows back, let's bend the front knee a little deeper. Take 2 more breaths. You can let the chin lift if that feels comfortable. Okay, fingertips down. And we'll just vinyasa over to the other leg so that we can do Anjaneasana on side 2. Back knee down, hands to that front thigh. Chest up. And when you feel ready, robot arms. I like to bring the shoulders up to the ears first and then roll the arms back. It just makes my elbows poke back further. Sometimes on stuck days, I do that like every breath. So play with it if that helps you do it. There is something to be said for minimizing your movements. But if you're feeling stuck, you need to move more. Okay, let's fingertip down it again. And we'll just quarter turn to the side. Let's go for Prasarita B. So instead of holding our toes, hands to the hips, inhale. And exhale, head down. We're going to try to get our head to the same place that it was in the D position. But of course, we don't have our arms helping pull us there. So your leg strength has to do all of it. Engage your quads in order to safely open the hamstrings. Distribute your weight through the whole foot. So don't just hang out on your heel. Take one more breath. Okay. Let's come halfway up for an inhale. Lower the fingertips down and walk over toward your right leg. Bend the left knee to the ground. We're going to either keep our left hand on the mat, or it could go like 12 inches off the mat to the side. We're going to reach back with our right hand and attempt to hold the outside edge of the back foot. You might need a strap in order to get the grip. Let's try kicking our foot further back so that it essentially takes our shoulder with it. And you wind up with this really nice chest opener. Okay, let's slowly unravel. John, take your time, because I know it took you a sec to get there. And then we'll just find the other side. So you can vinyasa around. We'll have some time in down dog B after this. So if it takes you a while to get into the pose, no problem. We'll just be meeting up in a symmetrical place. So we'll have our left hand on our right foot if possible, or on the strap. And it's real tempting to keep your hips kind of back by your foot. Try to drop your hips forward and down. The foot is independent, kicking back. And as you progress with the pose, the hips go further forward and down. Each breath takes you a little bit deeper. And when you feel like you've been there about the same amount of time that you were on side A, we'll just vinyasa over to the front of the mat. And let's meet in down dog B. You can vinyasa or not. I'm just going to step back and lower to my elbows. We'll just meet at some point on the elbows. If you want more challenge, walk your feet in. Okay, let's re-straighten the arm. Bring the right foot forward to the hands, Anjaneasana. This time, let's grab our strap. I should have said that before you planted your knee, because maybe your strap is far away. We're gonna loop up. I don't really loop up, I just lazily kind of attach my foot. And we're gonna get our left elbow up while the left foot is looped. That right hand can just stay on the right knee. And we'll try to sink the hips forward and down. So it's somewhat relaxed here in the arm. Just the weight of the leg is taking your shoulder into this opening. Maybe with your right hand on your thigh, you could encourage your right knee to bend a little bit more. Take 2 more breaths. Okay, and somehow come out of there. And let's just change sides. In order to loop up with the strap, sometimes it's nice also to turn to the right, place the foot, and then sort of square up, and then bend the left leg. We'll try to get that right elbow to point up. You decide where on the strap is a good place for you to be, so that you feel your shoulder opening, but it's not painful. And you could kick with a lot of energy, or you could just let the weight of the leg do it for you. It's not really a lazy pose, because this left heel is digging into the floor, and you have to keep your hips square. So even though it's using gravity, with just the weight of the leg opening the shoulder. There's still quite a lot of work to be done. Also, the effort that it takes to sort of let go and allow the hips to drop and allow the hip flexors to open, it's a lot of work. Surrender is hard. Take another breath or two. We're going to meet again in our down dog B. You can get there through a vinyasa or not. You can have your knees down at first or not. Okay, let's turn this into dolphin. So we're going to interlace the fingers. We'll press the pinky edge of the hand into the floor. Let's keep our emphasis on that pinky edge of the hand. I like to tuck the bottom pinky in just so it doesn't feel squished. And then I have two pinky edges that can press equally into the ground. Let's start walking the feet in a little bit more. Either stay there or lift your heels and bring your head down. Walk your feet in a little bit more. Lift your butt and lift your legs up. So you wind up in Baddha Chandrasana A. We're going to keep pushing that pinky edge of the hand down. If you're up in your headstand, separate your legs from one another, come into what you would think of as a split, side split. And keep your hips more or less where they are as you start to bring your feet down through a straddle. And eventually your feet get to the floor, at which point you can just lift your head and step to downward dog. Nice. Okay, let's bring the right foot forward to the hands. Lower the left knee down. Let's back the left knee up about 6 more inches. And bring both hands to the big toe side of the foot. Either stay here or flex your right foot and spin it open to the right so that your right knee moves away from your shoulder. It's just a slightly different hip stretch if you're square versus open. And then decide, do you want to come down to your elbows? You might be feeling this a lot in your right hip. You might feel it a lot in your left hip flexors. There's no right answer. A lot of that's going to depend on what sports you do when you're just going about your life. Or what did you do when you were in adolescence and your body was forming. Now we just kind of work with what is. Okay, let's come to the palms again. Turn that right foot forward if it was out to the side, hands on either side of the foot. And let's straighten the leg, flex the foot. This is a half split. We'll just be here for a moment. Then we're going to go to standing splits. We'll come back and forth between this and the standing split. It's a lot of ground to cover, but it's fine. Okay, so let's bend into the right knee. Place the foot solid on the floor. Launch the left leg up. Hands to that right ankle. There's our standing split. Let's return to Anjaneasana by gently placing the fingertips, bending the right knee, stepping back, lowering the left knee, and straightening the right leg. Just go back and forth at your pace. So we did a lot of stepping forward earlier. It's the same idea, except instead of landing your left foot next to your right foot, you're lifting your left toes to the ceiling. Getting all the way back to your Anjane and then into your half split, it's just a slow, methodical situation. Let's take a total of 4. And just notice how much your right foot and your right heel are going to determine whether it works or not. You have to stay rooted. Next time that you wind up in your half split, we'll stay there. We'll meet up with each other there. And we'll make a choice. Is half split good for us today? Or do we want to take it out further? Maybe into more of a split, like a 3/4 split or a 7/8 split, whatever it is. I keep a lot of weight in my hands because my block is across the room and I'm too lazy to fetch it. But if I were to fetch it, I would put it under the thigh so that I don't come too low. Ashley, you don't need that, girl. You're building heat. Don't put it out. She's like, one more sip, one more sip. You know, Tim used to always yell at us about that because he would say, it's just, you're trying to distract yourself. You don't really need it. Okay, let's release from there. You can vinyasa or not. We're just gonna meet with our other leg in front. And I'm just avoiding vinyasas in solidarity with Tanya, who has wrist issues. We're gonna meet in our Anjaneasanas, left leg in front. Okay, so then decide, let's put all our hands on the inside of the foot and decide if you want to keep your left foot facing front or do you want to spin it out to the side. If it spins to the side, your knee will drop open. If you're keeping it front, your knee will just stay kind of near your shoulder. And maybe you're down on your forearms. If you are on your forearms, try to get your left forearm to be as heavy as your right forearm. You're not just hanging out over on the right side. And one of the ways to do that is think more about your ribs. Square up your ribs to the floor. I know it's a little bit difficult. Okay, start to walk our hands in. We'll bring the left toes to face front. There's our Anjaneasana. And let's turn it into a half split. We bring our butt back. We flex our left foot. And we're keeping our left kneecap facing up to the ceiling. Okay, so in and out of your standing splits. We're going to go for a total of 4. So we rock our weight forward, launch our chest forward, our right leg up. If you can, hold your ankle. And then slowly fingertips down. Your left leg is really controlling you. You make your way all the way to your half split. And it's a lot of ground to cover, and you need to go slow, so it might not match a specific breath pace, and that's fine. Earlier I said that sometimes movement minimization is good, except when we get stuck. So after our 4th one, I have one more to do. After that, when we come into our Hanumans, we stay pretty still in the Hanuman. Hopefully we had worked out the kinks already as we're doing all of these movements in and out of the pose. So whenever you're done with 4 and you end up in your half split, just decide, is half good today? Or do you want your right knee and your left foot further apart? And the yoga is supposed to serve you, so you got to go to an appropriate amount that it feels good, that you'll be able to walk later, that it will enhance whatever you do when you're not on your mat. And a lot of us think of this as a hamstring thing, but if you're keeping your hips square, your right hip flexors are opening like crazy. Okay, somehow we're going to meet in down dog beat. Your path is your own. I'm going to just step back and come to the forearms. I'm skipping vinyasas. If you ever have wrist issues, just skip vinyasas. Skip downward dogs and go here. You don't have to skip a full practice just because of an injury. Most injuries, we can work around it. Okay. So come down to the knees. Let's just sit in toe crunch for a second. So we have our toes curled under, and as much as possible, walk your knees forward so that the toes are bending more. Whew. If it's too much, just stand instead on your knees. And we're just going to come, I'll show you. I'm going to face this way to show you. We're going to come into that Baddha Hasta A. Here's Dolphin. I'm gonna walk my head to my hands, and before I come up, I'm gonna step my feet out wide. I'm on the balls of my feet. When I want to come up, I'm gonna come to tippy toes, and then that lifts the legs because I shifted the hips over the shoulders. So it's that act of going from ball of foot to tippy toe that really helps a lot. And on the descent, we're gonna try to first land just on the tippy toe, have a conscious thought there, and then come to the ball of the foot and then the heel. So give it a try. If you're not coming upside down for whatever reason, consider Baddha Konasana or any other pose that suits you. If this is too easy, do it from a different headstand. And you'll notice getting up, it's pretty okay. On your descent, remember to try to just land on your tippy toe at first. So you have to be really in control. Gravity does not get you. You have a conscious thought before the foot comes down. Good. Very nice. And when you are done with such things, we'll just make our way to a normal downward dog. And we'll find our pigeon right leg in front. Let's grab our friend, the strap again. I'm going to rock to the right hip so that I'm kind of in cheating pigeon. My hips are facing sideways. Then I can get my strap on the left foot. Then once I'm looped up, I will face front again. We're going to try for our left arm up like we did before. And this time, if possible, your right arm will join the fiesta as well. And you'll just walk your hands toward your foot. It is hard to stay balanced here. So that would be the first thing to deal with. You might want to wedge something under your hip. You might need to squeeze your thighs together more so your pelvis actually rises off the floor. Take 2 more breaths. Okay, slowly slip your strap away. We're already sitting, so let's just rock to our outer right butt cheek and swing that back leg around. Anjaneasanas A. Right foot to left thigh. That right knee is pointing 90 degrees to the side. Hold on to that left foot if you can, or somewhere along your leg. Inhale and fold, exhale. Keep pressing the right foot into the left thigh. And just for fun, let's bring the left arm behind the back and try to grab hold of the right inner thigh. You might not actually be able to grab it, but just the process of bringing your left arm behind you, it actually helps square you to your leg, which is something that you want to do in this pose, which is Dhanurasana A. Okay, let's rise up, undo the arms, undo the legs, bring them out in front of us to bend, maybe like 1.5 feet, 2 feet out in front, and we'll just start to round ourselves down. And don't worry about how low we're going. Right now, it doesn't really matter. You're just gonna try to get a scooping feeling so it doesn't feel jagged on the ground. And when you get to a spot that's like hard to maintain, but you can, take a breath. And we're gonna keep that feeling of scooping and rounding, and we'll just rise up again. I will do that 2 more times. If it's too hard, you can just put your hands on your legs and they'll give you a little bit extra brace. It's not going to be easy with the hands on the leg, but it might help you be able to maybe roll more toward your sacrum. Let's start to rise up. And just take 1 more. You don't have to go very low, but you can. I like to stare at the belly here. I basically stare at my belly button through the clothes. And let's start to rise up again. Okay, pigeon left leg. So we'll just bend the left knee, rock over to the left hip, swing the right leg back. I'm going to reach for my strap. Loop up that foot. Try to get your right knee placed behind your hip. And then you can kind of play with the strap. So right now I have the strap pretty long and my right arm is straight. And it feels really nice. It feels like that very beginning stuff we did at class. I like 10:03, we were doing strap work. Feels like that. You could have your elbow bent. So for you, Miss Bloom, think more about Mula Bandha. Lift up through the pelvic floor and through the low belly. That's going to let you get your left hand included in the balance. You won't need it to balance you anymore because you have that rising feeling through the legs and the core. Good. All right, let's slowly get out of there. We'll rock to that left hip and swing the right leg around. Anjaneasanas 8, which is one of the easier sitting poses, but it lays the groundwork for all of them. So you can hold anywhere along your right leg. You're going to try to reach your your chest toward your right knee. And we're trying to square up, but it's tough. So if you bring your right arm behind your back, that will make it happen a little bit easily. The right ribs will naturally kind of move up. And John, look down toward your straight leg and aim yourself toward that straight leg. So even though we have the right arm back, we're still kind of aiming for that straight leg. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. And let's find a Navasana with legs bent. So we'll try to get our shins more or less parallel to the floor. You can reach your arms out or you can hold on if you need to. Sometimes I start reaching out and then I get tired and I start holding on. Okay, let's bend the knees more, hold the shins, round your back. We're just gonna rock a few times onto the spine and the shoulder blades, and then forward onto the sitting bones. If you have any back issues, maybe you skip this part and you just meet us on the butt. Next time you're balanced on the butt, again, hold your toes out about knee height. We're going to do the rocking again in a moment. If that felt like enough for you, repeat that. Otherwise, hold the hamstrings. Your legs are now going to be sort of free agents, but you're going to try to keep control of them. It's a little bit harder than when you were holding your shins, because now you have to control your momentum a bit more. The next time that you're balanced on your butt, stay there. Reach out if you can. We'll just do this one more time and we'll up it again, potentially. And I'll just talk while we're balanced. The next round we'll do, we might have straight legs and we'll hold the shins or the ankles. And again, it's going to be harder. So you could try it and then decide if it's for you or not. So you take one of your grips, either shins, hamstrings, or ankles, and we try to rock back onto the shoulder blades and forward onto the sitting bones. And we're trying to let the core sort of decide where we go when, so that gravity doesn't just do it for us. The next time that you're balanced, let's find one last Navasana, legs straight or bent. 3 more breaths, 2 more breaths, 1 more breath, or neither vinyasa or down dog B. All right. So if your headstand with fingers interlaced was hard enough, you're going to try that again. Otherwise, we're going to do Baddha Shirsasana C. Same arms as you do forearm dog, palms flat on the ground. And we'll try to lift up through the straddle and come down again the same way you did. So you'll walk your feet out. You'll be on the balls of your feet, then you'll come on to tippy toes. And from tippy toes, you'll start to lift the legs. You don't even have to come all the way up. Really, the bottom half is the most difficult to control. Ashley, try one more time. Un poco más lento, por favor. Good, John. Control. Yes. Good. And this is a very shoulder position, like shoulder heavy. You got to be pretty open in the shoulders to do this. Good. All right. Let's come down to our butts again. Let's bring the left leg out straight and plunk the right foot down outside of the left knee. We'll hug that right knee to the left shoulder and twist. You could keep your right fingertips behind you on the floor or wrap it around your back and try to grab hold of your left thigh. Take 2 more breaths. This is kind of like a prep for Ardha Chandrasana. Just take 1 more breath. I shouldn't say kind of like, it is exactly a prep. Okay, let's unwind ourselves. Feel free to keep your left leg straight or bend it. I'm just going to come over here because black pants and the black mat is not helpful. Bend it so that your left foot is near your right hip, but don't sit on your foot. A lot of people I see jam it under there. No, no, no. Your butt is on the ground. Okay, then either hug or hook your arm. So it's the same twist you just did. Either right fingertips behind you, helping you sit up tall, or just like you did, wrap your right arm behind your back and attempt to hold your left thigh. It does help to look back. You can think of bringing your chin to your right shoulder. Okay, let's slowly unwind ourselves. Ooh la la. And just try the other side, starting with the prep. So right leg straight, left leg outside of the thigh, hug the knee. And it's a lot of work to sit up straight here. When we hug in, we sometimes like to lean back a bunch. So instead, you're going to think of being on your sitting bones. So you're not back toward your tailbone. The pelvis tilts forward a little bit. And then you can sit up taller, and you can maybe get your left fingers over by your right hip. If we had handles on our pants, we could easily hold that handle. Since we don't have handles, we have to try to grip the thigh flesh, which is sometimes elusive. Okay, let's untwist. Decide if you're going to bend your right knee or not. There's no right answer to that one, but you need your butt on something. Right and left butt cheeks equal. That might mean you're sitting on a towel. When you can, you decide hugging or hooking the arm. Get your body upright. Your left hand is real helpful in making that happen. When you're able to maintain your uprightness without your left hand here, then reach around, try to grab your right thigh. Look back, see what's over your left shoulder. Okay, let's slowly unravel ourselves. Oh, Lord. Okay, let's step back, down dog B. This time we're going to attempt, let's go for Baddha Hasta B, but we're not going to lift up through a straddle. We might lower down through a straddle, but lifting up through a straddle in this one's a little tough. So first I want you to just feel lifting up normal. So this is the I Dream of Jeannie arms. Your thumbs will link into your opposite elbow. Your head is going to go in front of your forearms. Basically, your forehead is going to touch your forearms. And then when you come up, it's the same up as you do. It's just that you're pushing harder into your elbows than ever before. And you just come up as high as you want and then make a choice. Do you want to come down for straddle or not? Just come down safely somehow. Ashley, how'd it go? I missed it. Okay. Carol, question? No, she's just changing her mat. Okay. All right, try it one more time. If that one went well for you, you're going to go for D position, which is sort of the same concept. You measure out your elbows, but then instead of keeping your hands on your elbows, you're going to put them up onto your shoulders. So then your foundation is a little smaller because you only have a head and two elbows. Make a wise choice for you and come up very slowly. Ashley, whatever you choose to come down, do it both legs together. So none of this one leg at a time nonsense. Do it again. Symmetrical. Yes, you can.
I can't practice yoga anymore.
Oh, so sad. But you still have it in you to go up with two legs together. All right. So let us come into a squat. And ski racer might be more your jam if you have any knee issues, and squat is not for you. We're going to go a few times standing and returning to the squat. You might want your feet wide and facing out. You might want your feet parallel. They might even be together. Doesn't matter. And how low you come also doesn't matter. I just want you to practice pushing down into your feet and getting your legs fully straight, and then returning to whatever your depth is and your squat is. And this is just practicing rooting through the feet because we're going to come into back bend soon, and we really need to know how to push down with the feet. And this is something I like to do before drop backs. If I know I'm going to do drop backs that day, I like to do this a few times because this is the action that you need in the legs. You need this rooting. All right, so the next time that you're standing, grab hold of your strap again. And we're going to take it into Natarajasana. So just step on your strap with your left foot. Swing it over your shoulder like you are Santa. And start to walk your hands any amount down your strap. You could have your elbows bent. You could kick into your strap and open through your armpits a lot. That's really nice. Or sometimes I like to try straightening my arms and getting my leg higher, which feels different through the leg. And you don't have to stay in either of those things. You can kind of move back and forth between them. This is one of those ideas where if you're feeling stuck, kind of wiggle around until you find some mobility, some ease. All right. Let's slowly get out of there and we'll change sides. You could do it with your chest near a wall. I know a lot of folks like that for balance. I feel a bit claustrophobic when I do it that way, but it does help with the balance. That is definitely true. I personally prefer to just kind of fall out of it if I need to. But as you practice it more and more, you'll sort of get your routine that works for you. Some of you might be able to even hold your top foot with your hand. Carol, for you, try straightening your elbows just a little bit. Kick a little harder. Good. And let's slowly get out of there. Ah, hello, shoulders. All right. So normally you would then vinyasa and come onto your belly. I'm just going to come onto my belly because I'm avoiding wrists. So however you want to get there, we're going to come to the belly. If you went through a vinyasa, you could go after down dog to plank, and then you wind up on the belly. All right. I'm just trying to show Tanya that a whole class could be done with no wrists. All right, let's bring our right arm out to the right side about shoulder height, and we're going to roll onto that shoulder. Whew, that feels amazing. The left arm could be in front of you, helping control it. It could be behind you. It could interlace with the right one if you want. Let's return to center and head over to the other side. Shoulder height, or even a little more high than that, like even eyeball height would be fine. Okay, let's return to center. We'll just prop ourselves up for Sphinx Pose. Elbows just an inch or so in front of the shoulders and roll the shoulders back. Let's push the pubic bone down into the floor. We're just going to kick ourselves in the butt with the right foot and then extend the right leg out and kick yourself in the butt with your left foot. And when we go right foot, let's go in, and then extend. And left foot in, and then extend. If possible, it's exhale, exhale, and then extend. Left leg, exhale, exhale, inhale to extend. This is just firing up your hamstrings. After this trip to the left, let's keep both legs straight, push into the hands, and just come up a little bit higher with your chest. Maybe. If this is not appropriate for your back, then don't do that. Maybe you even walk your hands in a little bit more. Roll the shoulders down the back. Okay, let's lower down. We'll reach for our ankles for Dhanurasana. You might need a strap here, or two straps even, one for each leg. Sometimes it's nice. We'll hold on, and we'll kick. And most of my poison oak is gone, but my ankles right now are pretty disgusting. And I'm holding my disgusting ankles. It feels like the surface of a basketball. Okay, and let's slowly come on down. Let's return to our Sphinx. Prop yourself up more if possible. Slowly come on down. We'll go one more Dhanurasana. This time we're going to flip it over to the sides so that we get similar shoulder stretch to when we were one arm at a time. So we'll kick, and we'll kick harder into the left so that we fall onto the right. And the shoulder stretch will be akin to what you did when your hand was at shoulder height. The more you kick, the more you'll feel it. Sometimes we get stuck on the side, so do your best to return upright and use that momentum, kicking into your right so that you can come over onto the other arm. Good, we'll come through center. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. And as you kick, remember when you went from Sphinx to the straight arm Sphinx and you came up higher, try to come up that high. Good. Let's release and Hands under the shoulders, curl into cobra or upward facing dog, downward dog, exhale. Okay, let's come on to our backs, however you want to get there. You might want to jump through and have a seat first and then come down. I'm just kind of curling. And let's take it to Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Soles of the feet down, lift the hips. Let's interlace the fingers underneath the back. Rock right and left so that you can really wedge your arms under there. Push your hips up as high as you can. And to do that, you're pushing down into your feet. Also, think about tractioning your heels toward your shoulders, like your knees are reaching forward. And that's going to help turn your hamstrings on more and your glutes. Okay, let's lower our butt onto our forearms if possible, so that you're still just stuffing this chest opener. Let's rise up again. You can repeat the same thing, or this time get your palms underneath your hips. So again, it takes rocking side to side to kind of wedge your wrists under there. If you have any wrist issues, you're not going to do this version. But now your hips are significantly higher. But it's not because the legs are working harder, it's just because your forearm bone is a certain height. Let's bring the knees 1 inch closer together. Release the grip, try to keep your hips that high, take a breath, and then lower down slowly. Okay, we'll come into one more back bend from the back. You decide if you repeat one of those, or if you come to Urdhvadhanyarasana, which could have your hands on the floor, or your hands on the baseboard. Sometimes that makes the wrists feel better than the fingers are angling down to the ground. Just come up for about 5 breaths. Resist the urge to let your knees splay out. And we'll slowly descend from there. Okay, let's roll to one side. Then we'll make our way to Anjaneasanas, back bend style, inversion, stemming from down dog feet. So I encourage you to lift up with your least favorite leg. I was trying it the other day and it was straight up not working for me. But it's good practice in the concept of reaching, or reaching with that top leg. And we're squeezing the legs together in order to get the second leg to join the party. Take 3 more breaths. Nice. And then somehow come on down. All right, let's sit up and let's bring the soles of the feet together with the feet like 12 inches or so in front of the pelvis. And you can just hold on to your shins or sort of wherever's comfortable. We're going to inhale to arch and exhale to round. So it's like cat-cow, but with your legs in this quasi-baddha. And if possible, do this without your hands on your legs. Just reach forward or put your hands somewhere else and see if your abdominals and your hips can create these shapes for you. You're rocking sort of from the tailbone to the sitting bones. This is just one of many ways to sort of get out of back bends. Okay, the next time that you're in the rounded position, we'll place the hands down again on the legs and start to aim the head to the arches of the feet. I like to put the hands even underneath the feet a bit. And as we aim the head toward the arches, we're gonna bring the belly button back toward the spine a little more. 2 more breaths. Let's rise up. We'll lean back. I think we did this on Friday. We're gonna bring our right thigh over our left and then escort our feet to the floor for Gomukhasana, Anjaneasana style. So our shins, more or less a straight line. You might need to put a block under your butt. Okay, and fold forward as much as you can stand it. So it's very hippie. Don't go too far. I don't want to hear any popping or anything. Just a gentle nudge into those outer hips. Let's rise up and just change sides. So you're balanced on your butt as you change. Left thigh over right. You can hold on to your ankles as you place your feet down and then sort of move your feet accordingly. You might want your feet closer to your hips than what I have mine at. In a way, this is like double pigeon on speed. Okay, let's rise up and find regular pigeon, right leg in front. Downward facing. So we'll come onto the forearms, or even more down than that, depends on your hips. So you could even make a pillow, put your head on the pillow, you could bring your head to the ground. Walk the hands in and just try the other side. Left leg forward, right leg back. Try to get your right knee directly behind your right hip. Downward facing pigeon. Swing that leg around. And let's roll down for happy baby. So we'll have our backs on the floor. We'll hold on to either the pinky edges of the feet or the inside of the heel. Is a slightly different position and very nice. So decide. And for a moment, let's emphasize knees to the floor and let your tailbone sort of peel up off the ground. And keep your knees where they are, but place your tailbone and your sacrum down again. So then it's a little more difficult in the hips. Take just one more breath. Okay, let's lift the legs up to an L shape. Either stay there or take it into halasana, which would mean our legs go back and our butt goes up. And if you're there, place your hands on your low back for some support. And try to walk your elbows in a little bit so that your elbows are pretty much right behind your shoulders, not out to the side. Same as when you do your down dog B, you try to keep everything in line, same idea. Let's bend the knees and try to touch the forehead with the knees. If that feels okay, go for temples. If that's okay, go for shoulders. Take one more breath. We'll keep our body where it is, but place the palms flat on the mat. Arms will be straight. Let's start rolling down. Go as slow as you can And keep your thighs close to your chest. So that you're like this little ball kind of unraveling. And we'll just meet in that L shape again. Once you're in your L, point your toes and just draw a little circle on the ceiling so that you feel like your low back is getting this kind of circular massage. Shoulders stay steady. And go the other way with your circle. It can be as big as you want, but don't let your shoulders be all roly-poly. Okay. Let's bring the left leg down toward the mat, straight. Do a little sit up, hold on to your right leg. Just bring your right shin toward your head, any amount, pause. Head down, legs up, and try the other side. Right leg will come down, any amount, left leg will come in, any amount. Head down, legs up to 90 degrees. And just give yourself a hug, knees to the chest. You can hold on to your shins or your hamstrings. It will feel different in your back if you do one or the other. Take whatever else you need before Shavasana, if there is anything, and we'll just meet in Shavasana. We did a lot of shoulder work today. One other thing you can do for shoulders that's quite nice and also passive is for your Shavasana, do goalpost arms, like cactus arms, but laying down. You just have these 90-degree bends with your elbows out to the side. And it's still the do nothingness of Shavasana, just adds a bit of a stretch for the chest. one more minute. We'll just keep sitting up. When you sit up, try to arrange yourself in a way that's easy enough for your hips and ankles that you can be upright with no effort. Let's take a deep inhale. We'll hold it in for a few seconds at the top of the breath. And let it go with a sigh. Let's do that again. Inhale. Probably when you get to the top, you could actually sip in a little extra. Pause at the top. And exhale. One more time like that. Bring the hands together and bow forward. Seal in the efforts. Namaste.